Okay, ladies, for this tutorial, we are going to create our very own doodle letters. Okay, this is so much fun. You can do this with other fonts too. But the one that I sent y'all ladies in the email is the one that I preferred, was like the best one to do some practice with. And I have created these doodle font letters using the font that I sent y'all. Okay. It is a time-consuming design to create doodle fonts, but it is so much fun. So for this tutorial, it would take me over an hour probably to show y'all how to do the full word grandma. So I'm going to show you right now how to do one letter. And with that one letter, you will do the same exact thing with every other letter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to group this and I'm going to move it out of my way. I'm just going to bring it up here to the top. And I'm going to bring in another letter here. So what I'm going to do is change my color to black. The brush that you will be using is the monoline brush. You will go down to 1%. And you will use 8%. So you can check that, hit the plus sign if you don't already have it set at 8%. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going GRAN. So we're going to do the G, because the G is probably the most difficult one, but it's not too bad. It's just a lot of curves to it. All right, so we're going to type out our letter, and make sure you are using the font that I sent you, ladies, which is the Obelix Pro. And once you type out your letter, you're going to double tap on that. And then you're going to have, it'll be blue highlighted. So you're going to click your A over here. And when you click your A, you will click this circle right here, which is your outline, to create your letter as an outline. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring that letter up, and you're going to work with each individual letter that you are going to work with. Now, if you are doing like grandma, there's 2 A's, so you can duplicate the A if you want to have it the same as the other A. So it's totally up to you. All right, so here's the fun part and a little bit tricky, difficult part, but you ladies can get it. I know you can. You do really good with your artwork when I see it on the group from the tutorials. Okay, so with your G, you're going to hit this N right here, and you're going to lower the opacity down to 40. Okay, because what we are going to do is we are going to draw this letter. You're going to trace this letter. You're going to make it a doodle letter. Okay, so now what you're going to do is add a layer above the G. You're going to click on your brush, make sure you're on monoline, and you're going to be on 8%. Okay, now the way that I did this was I went shoo really fast. But take your time. If you need to work in sections, then work in sections. But make sure when you're working in sections that you start exactly on where you stopped. Because if you don't, it's going to look wonky, and it's going to be, it's not going to create that circular nice G that you want. Okay, so what I do is, what happened here? Hold on. Oh, I went back. Okay, so I'm going to start out by doing this. Okay, I just went all the way around with my G. You can hit the Edit Ellipse button that pops up right here once you release your letter. It will help you to move your letter around and position it the way that you want to position it. Now, if you cannot get it positioned right, like you want it, then you can go back, try again, okay? So I'm going to keep it right there. And it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up with your G that you have here. You see mine is, let me go back. Mine is up a little higher and not close enough. That's okay. It's up a little higher right here too. So don't worry about that. You're creating a doodle letter. These are supposed to look a little messy. They're not supposed to be perfect. So you're just going to, let's go to edit eclipse. We're going to move this. You're just going to have fun with this and just start creating your doodle letters. This is you creating your own letters. Okay, so we're going to take that off. All right, so one thing I noticed that I do not like is how thick this is right here. So I'm going to go back. And I'm going to go down, and I'm going to bring this down like this. Then I'm going to do my circular thing I got going on there. And let's see, and you can turn off your letter like that, and you can see how you're starting to like your letter. So this is starting to look okay. The only thing that I would change is how curved that is right there. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to redo my curve here. And like I said, just take your time. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect because it's a doodle letter. Okay, and I don't like how thin it is right here compared to the thickness of here. So I'm going to go back again. And I'm going to go in more right there. Like that. And let's see how that will look now. This isn't going to be a walk in the park. This is going to be a lot of erasing, a lot of going back and fixing and just working with it some more. So, okay, so now I'm going to keep it like that. That looks great to me. So I'm going to lower the size of my monoline pen or monoline brush down to 1%. And now what I want to do is I want to start creating some crazy lines. Because like I said, we are creating a doodle font. So we want it to have those crazy looking lines. And like I said, if you want to hold your lines to kind of straighten it up better, I guess, kind of tidy it up. You can do that when you are drawing your lines here. Let's see one right there. We're just gonna kind of go in and make it look funky. Now you see how I did that? I connected from, let's go right there. I grabbed from the inside of the G and created a curve and connected on the other end, or connected going back. That's how you want it to do. That's how you want it to look. You want to kind of go in and out when you're creating your doodle letters. So right here, I could go out, connect it there, like that. And since we're a little plain over here, we're gonna do a little curve right there. Let's go inside. There we go. Okay, so now that we have that completed, okay, it looks funky, right? It looks a mess. But what you're gonna do, let's connect that. Oh, didn't want to erase that. Okay, so I'm gonna show you, if you don't like a part right here, like this, I'm gonna show you how to fix that. Okay, so what you're going to do, since I have finished with my outlining part. Okay, so what you want to do is hit your select tool, make sure automatic add and color fill is on, and you're going to drop your color in there. You're going to click off of that, and now we're going to add a background. So you're going to add a layer, turn on clipping mask, and we're going to bring a background over. So let's just do this pretty cow print. And you're going to drop it right there. So we have completed our G, except we need our little squiggly lines to go all the way around. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to change. Now you can merge this together right now if you want to, or you can wait and see if you like that background, you know, totally up to you. So we're going to add a layer, and we're going to change the color to black, make sure we're on our monoline and down to 1%. And then we're going to go in and start drawing our doodle lines. Now, I did show y'all, now because the black is right here from the background, you see right here, well, that kind of blocks that out. But what I'm going to do is go over top of that with a doodle line. Now, it is kind of hard to see, but you see the doodles coming up, which is how I want it to be. But if you're doing something other than anything that has black on the background and you're drawing these doodle lines, then you know, you'll be able to see it on this end. So if I draw it on this white, you're going to be able to see that. Okay, so let's do one over here on the white. Let's do one over here. And let's do one down here. We're going to do a small one down there. And let's do one right here. All right, we have created our doodle letter. So let me turn that off so I can show you how it looks. All right, and let's turn this background off. So now we have our doodle letter. Now, to keep these separated, I would suggest doing that, because what you can do is you can save what you have. Like, you can turn everything off, turn the background off, turn everything off except for your doodle letter. That way you can download it, save it, go ahead and save it as a transparent background. Put it in a file folder. That way, anytime you want to use your doodle letters, you will have your doodle letters, and you can use them at any time. So you could bring it in and you could add backgrounds to it. I would suggest, if you download it, do it without the squiggly lines, and then once you get your background added to it, and the last thing that you need to do is your squiggly lines. Because when you go in to add a background, you see how there's no gap here for any color to get inside of that when you create that, so it's kind of blocked in here. You're going to have those spaces showing not the background or the color that you put in there. I hope that makes sense. But that is how you create your doodle letter. And you will do that with the rest of the letters. So let's turn that back on so I can show y'all. You'll do that with the rest of the letters. Exact same way. And you will just keep working with it. You know, it will help you learn to trace, and it'll help you learn to do outlines with all different types of letters. So I will say that the A was one of the ones that gave me a little trouble. So what I'm going to do real quick with this tutorial is I'm going to show y'all what I did with the A, because you will probably hit a bump in the road with that one. Okay, so let's double tap, hit our A, create an outline with it, and then let's bring it out. Okay, and I'm going to show you where I hit a bump in the road with this one. Okay, so I'm going to bring the opacity down to 40%. Okay, I'm going to add my new layer, make sure I'm on my monoline, and I'm on 8%. All right, so I didn't hit a bump in the road with doing the outline. Okay, so you just go up connect all your lines. If you happen to say, Hannah, I'm trying to do the color drop, but it's doing the whole background, it's not doing the color drop inside the letter, that is because you did not connect something on your letter all the way. So for instance, say there was a gap right here. It's that is why you're not getting it inside of the font or inside of the letter. It's because something wasn't connected all the way. Okay, so here, the center here is where I hit the bump in the road. Because I did, and I'm going to quickly outline this. I did the inside too. Okay, don't do that. Don't do the inside. It looks weird as crap. So with this letter, don't do the inside. Just do the outside part. Bring that down. Let's draw our squiggly lines. Not squiggly lines, our funky lines. We'll call them that. Let's do our funky lines to make them, make our doodle letter. Like I said, y'all know these don't have to be like, don't worry too much when you're doing these. I want you to be able to enjoy creating doodle letters and not be like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Yes, you can. You can do this. You can most certainly do this. And that's why I'm here to help. So if you kind of feel like you don't, something's not going right, message me, because I will help you. That is what I'm here for. I'm here to help. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Okay, so now we got our A, our doodle letter for our A. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that everything is connected. And what you're going to do, now the one thing that I do not like is the end of this A, so I'm going to, whoop, too big. I'm going to kind of erase that off like that. And make sure that's the only one that I'm not too fond of. Okay, yeah, we're good. All right, so now what you're going to do is you can go ahead and erase that outline A. So this A, you can go ahead and erase that, get rid of that. And we have our outline. You're going to add a layer above. Well, first you're going to turn on reference on your outline doodle. You're going to add a layer above, change your color, make sure your color is a different color other than black. Select tool, add automatic color fill, drop it in there. Then add a layer, new layer, clipping mask on top of your color drop layer. Then you're going to add your background. Once you've added your background, you like how it looks, position it the way you want it to look. Then you're going to add a new layer, change your color to black, make sure you're on your monoline pen down to 1%. Then you draw your squiggly lines. Draw your squiggly lines all the way around however you want them, wherever you want them. Just like this. And I will say this 1,000 times, ladies, the ones that watch this tutorial, and if you do not have an iPad and you can get you an iPad, I highly suggest getting you an iPad. I wish Procreate was for Android too. That would be absolutely amazing if Procreate was for Android too, But unfortunately, it's not. If you are legit wanting to get into the digital art business, to where you can sell your own digital art or create your own digital art for your own personal designs, business, whatever it is, then it is a great thing to have. So if you can get you an iPad, go get you one. Trust me, just don't worry about it being Apple. Apple is actually a really good product. I was hesitant before I got my iPhone, my Apple Watch, and my iPad, and now I will never go back to Android. But it's everybody's personal preference, but I'm just throwing that out there. If you want to try to get into Procreate, I suggest getting an iPad. I love mine. I love Procreate. Okay, so now that we have our A done, we're going to group everything together. And now, like I said, if you want to save your A so you can use it any other time that you were trying to create something, you can do letters A through Z when you're outlining these. I mean, if you feel like you have the time to sit down and trace all of these and create your own doodle letters, A through Z, where you can save them all into a file folder, go back and reuse your doodle letters at any time, go for it. But I'm going to take off my squiggly lines, take off my background, take off my color drop. That way I can just save this, because my squiggly lines will always be the last thing that I add, because I want it to be on top. I don't want anything like I said, you know, you'll have those areas where you won't be able to get the color in unless you go underneath the letter and color it in. It's just too much. So I highly suggest that. Okay, so now that we have finished that, I'm going to group that together. And one thing that I like to do with doodle letters is when you are doing like a name or something like that, doodle letters look amazing kind of overlapping each other or turned sideways. Like you can have GRA, grandma, if you're doing grandma. You can have the R overlapping the G, and then the A underneath the R. You would just move those layers around. The way you would do that is, so if you want your G underneath your G would go under the bottom. You want your, let's just throw in a letter. Let's just put this R in here. Okay, just for reference. You want your A underneath your R. So you will move your R above your A like that. So you have now your G, then you have your A above your G sitting on top of your G right there a little bit. And then you have your R sitting on top of your A. Or if you want your A over top of your R, you'll move it like that. I know it kind of sounds confusing, but trust me, once you get your letters all figured out, you know, in and out, with doing them on top, underneath, things like that, trust me, it will look amazing. So that is how you do your doodle letters. Remember to go in, change it to an outline, lower the opacity, use your monoline brush, start tracing it. Remember, we are using 8% to trace our outline. We're doing 1% to do our crazy lines, and 1% to do our squiggly lines. So y'all have fun with this. I cannot wait to see what word you create. You can create mama, you can create grandma, you can just create your letter and show me what it looks like when you are completed it. And I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. Have fun creating doodle letters, and I can't wait to see what kind of backgrounds you put in them and all that. So yeah, just go enjoy creating some fun letters, and I can't wait to see what you come up with.